Hello and welcome back to St George's Park, where already today we've seen 2 games played, and this is the third of 4 on the schedule, actually a late addition to this Sunday's schedule, with Leicester taking on Liverpool in the action live from the Tier 2 North of the FA National Futsal Series. Stuart Cook is once again alongside me for this one. Stuart, what are you expecting from this game?
To be honest, it's 2 teams that I don't know too much about. We actually played Liverpool Futsal Club in pre-season game, but from looking at the squad list, I think they've got a few different faces. So I don't know. I'm intrigued to see it again, a little bit like the first game, where I knew probably a little bit more about them. It'd be interesting to see the standard we've got at Tier 2 and how close they are at making that step up to Tier 1. Yeah,
well, certainly an opportunity for these 2 teams, Leicester and Liverpool, to showcase what they can do on the big stage. It's a big occasion for them, that's for certain, playing in front of the BT Sport TV cameras and of course at St George's Park as well. Just awaiting the arrival of the 2 teams out onto the court. Leicester have only won 1 game in all competitions this season. That was a 8-3 win over Trent Valley in September. Liverpool, on the other hand, have picked up 2 wins and a draw from 5 games in the league, as well as 3 wins in the cup. Teams are coming out onto the court then. It's Leicester in the darker shade of blue, Liverpool there, you can see on the screen, in their pale green. Let's have a look at how the 2 teams line up then, starting with Leicester. They have Archie Robinson between the 6 in goal, Rodrigo Costa, Lewis Bonsall, Ben Loader and Jake Folwell make up the rest of their starting team. The substitutes are Nat Williams, Josh Pickering, Liam Doe, Ray Nathan, Bruno Serratore, Grace Tomasowski and Shamim Ular. Coach is Jack Bryan. Leicester's opponents then, Liverpool, probably the favourites for today's game. There they are, and let's take a look at their team. Tom Blake is the number 1, and in goal, Jilson Jr., Oscar Mendes, Connor Sandham and Yota Yamamoto. Their starting lineup, the substitutes are Lohan Munoz de Oliveira, Antonio Pinto, who's down as number 190 on the team sheet, never heard of that before, Ben Stevens, Sergio Martinez and David Connor. David Connor also the player coach of Liverpool. Moments away from kick-off then, and the 2 camps just undergoing their final pre-match preparations before we will be set to get the ball rolling and underway in game 3 of 4. Remember, we still have the big one live on BT Sport 1 to come later. That's a 5:30 kick-off in Tier 1 between Loughborough Students and Manchester, so make sure you do join us for that. For the moment, for the time being, all the attention on this Tier 2 North clash between Leicester and Liverpool. Your referees, as you can see there, are referee Ollie Rodriguez-Ballinger, second referee Paul Waitley, and the timekeeper is Andrew Thompson. Will be Leicester to get us underway then at the start of this first period of 20 minutes. Important that these 2 teams look to make a really good, strong start to the game, Stuart.
Yeah, and again, you know, we talked about it in the first game between Derby and East Riding. The court size will offer the players different challenges and ultimately different learning opportunities, because, you know, looking out there, and it does look like there's a couple of young players, certainly from a Leicester point of view. So we'll see how the game progresses and develops, and how they get to grips with the extra space that they've got, and ultimately the extra time on the ball.
Liverpool here in possession, bursting free of the first challenge, but it's good defending from Leicester's number 2, Rodrigo Costa.
As I say, Michael Bolton, we played Liverpool in a pre-season game, and they do have some good individuals, and I think obviously over the course of the season you hope that the collective unit and, you know, the cohesion between an outfield 4 starts to improve. But they did cause us some problems. As I say, you know, the 4 in possession there. Mendes, he's got some really good individual ability, and quite happy to take risks in that fixed position to create overloads.
This is Yamamoto. Back to Connor Sandham. Mendes to Junior, and Sandham in possession again, creeping ever closer to the Leicester goal. Ball passed out on Mendes, and it's back with Leicester.
Good to see York pressing high, sorry, not York, Liverpool pressing high there. You know, that's not often something you see in Tier 2. You see a lot of the Tier 2 teams want to sit off at half court and let the game come to them.
Yamamoto across to Mendes. Liverpool just enjoying this early spell of possession. Yamamoto faked to shoot and then checked back. Well, that's nice, and it's prodded goal bound, but just wide of the far post by Sandham.
Yeah, great first touch, just to lift it over the defender, and unfortunately he's outside of the foot finish, has just found the wrong side of the post. Just going back to Liverpool again, I watched them play Manchester development team in a cup game, some highlights recently on social media when we were preparing for our game, and the number 2, Yamamoto, he's got some really good principles in terms of the way he moves, the way he checks off defenders, and he's got some really good fundamentals. So it'd be interesting to see how well he finds space now he's playing on this bigger court, and if he can be a threat for Liverpool.
It's side in possession at the moment. Yamamoto across to Mendes. Jolson Jr. walked away before it could trouble the goalkeeper Robinson. Yamamoto to Sandham. Very much dictating play at the moment to Liverpool.
Yeah, Liverpool are moving the ball really well. You know, not moving too much. We discussed in the earlier game. You know, they're finding themselves in spaces and just holding that position, and actually they're allowing Leicester to do the running between those spaces. You know, they'll keep moving the ball from side to side and try and create better shooting opportunities than probably one they took on there. But at the same time, they won't mind building pressure and keeping Leicester true and see if they can force mistakes by just being in this final third for long periods of time.
Mendes into Yamamoto and back to Mendes, but the strike was well wayward of the target. It's more pressure though from Liverpool, and definitely on the front foot early on.
Yeah, nice idea. Again, we similar to the second goal that York scored. You see playing that ball in, a little bit of individual movement to check off and receive the ball back. Good play from both players.
Robinson goes long with that distribution, looking for the run of Ben Loader, the captain with the armband on there for Leicester. Yamamoto across, and it sent back to the goalkeeper Blake. Yamamoto checks back again. The goalkeeper can't have possession, as Leicester haven't touched it since he last did. Sent forward, and Leicester win the ball back by virtue of that misplaced pass. Yeah,
Leicester showing there that they're not afraid to press high up the court, and they did it really well and ultimately forced the mistake. And a lot of the time, that's what you're trying to do when you're pressuring high up. You're not necessarily pressuring to win the ball back as an individual, but you're trying to create a difficult situation for your opponent to find an easy or a simple pass out. You know, and you hope that 2 or 3 times.
Now then, there's a bit of space in behind maybe for Rodrigo Costa, but it's good last-ditch defending by Sandham. Got back quickly.
Yeah, sorry, and you're hoping that sort of after two or three occasions of good pressure that the mistake comes and that they give you the ball back, whether it be on court or they put the ball out of play for a kick in. But you see there the threats of pressing high Liverpool with Leicester with a ball over the top, creating the chance to run through. Good recovery run from Sandham.
Yeah, both sides just settling into the contest early on. And still goalless, still without a really big chance. Two fingers in the air as the signal from Lewis Bonsall. He's in possession with the ball in court now. Shots fired from the left flank, and it had to be dealt with by the goalkeeper Blake.
Yeah, flashed across the box there. Fortunate for Liverpool, there was nobody at the second post to capitalise on it.
Sander. This is Juleson Jr. Nice footwork all the way through, and what a goal that is! Juleson Jr. with the game's first.
Yeah, electric feet there in the 1v2 to find himself in space, and then he's got there before the keeper and slotted it away beautifully. A great goal.
Yeah, as we take a look again at the replay, brilliant skill to skip away from the two Leicester defenders and always look likely to provide the finish. 1-0 to Liverpool.
Yeah, Leicester will be a little bit disappointed that they've allowed him to get out of that 2v1 so easily. And then at the same time, they've not really offered any cover once he has escaped it. But take nothing away from the individual quality there.
One 0 then. It's the man in possession, Junior, who scored it. He's given it away there though. Wins it back mind, and here's Connor Sandham. Mendes. Junior, nice again, Mendes. Maybe a heavy touch, but rounds the goalkeeper. And just like that, it's 2. Liverpool in dreamland so far in this one, with goals from Junior and now Mendes.
Yeah, again, that man Mendes there with the back heel, you know, maybe caught Leicester by surprise, and you know, great awareness to even spot the run. It's picked him out, and then a wonderful finish. Goalkeeper maybe could have made it a little bit more difficult rather than split saving. Could he necessarily have made himself a little bit longer and forced the defender wider? Forced the attacker wider, give the defenders a little bit longer to recover. But take again a great goal from Liverpool, and they've had a fantastic start.
Well, good turn down the other end though, and if the pass was better, then maybe a chance for Leicester to respond back immediately with Loader waiting at the second post, but it was well behind him.
Yeah, the decision to actually look for that pass was probably good. I think, you know, young players often will take the shot on there. Just unfortunately, he hasn't quite been able to connect with it. But promising signs that, you know, they are going to be able to create chances to get back into this game.
Yamamoto, possession on the near side. Liverpool kicking.
Leicester just need to be careful that they don't get caught in that mid-press, mid-sit position. You know, I think what we're seeing, you know, the pattern we're seeing is that when teams get caught in that area of uncertainty is actually when you leave yourself most vulnerable. You know, you've got to commit to the press or drop off.
Chance here for Leicester out of his area, but made the save with the right knee, did the goalkeeper Blake.
Yeah, did well to come and close the angle down. Made himself nice and big. You see a lot of keepers often don't like to leave the area in that situation. They'll stay on the area, on the line, just so they can still use the hands. So he's made the decision to come out and made himself big.
Yeah, did well. It stays at 2-0. Folwell there takes the kick in. Back for Jake Folwell. Tries to cut the ball into a central area, but it's kick-started this counter-attack. It's Yamamoto. Yamamoto! 3-0 Liverpool. Things just getting even more difficult for Leicester, and even better from a Liverpool perspective.
Yeah, again, it comes down to the individuality of the Liverpool players. A couple of step-overs in the middle of the court to create a forward pass, and then Yamamoto does really well with a little bit of a croqueta to take the goalkeeper out of the game. And Leicester just struggling a little bit to deal with like I say, the individual ability of some of the Liverpool players, and often, you know, that individuality can become more obvious on the larger courts, because ultimately there's more space to play in and there's more space to exploit for those type of players.
Yeah, a clever finish. Let's put Liverpool in very much pole position. They've got another potential attack here with a overload wide left, and it comes all the way across. It's another chance and very nearly another goal. Ben Stevens and his strike against the post.
Yeah, very clever effort. Disguised to look for that second post, and slotted it near post, and really unfortunately it's not found its way into the back of the net.
Four opportunities Liverpool have had, they've taken 3 of them.
Yeah, Leicester have been caught a little bit cold because they've actually enjoyed a bit of possession, and the game's probably a little bit like earlier in the day, been played in the defensive half of Liverpool, but each time it breaks down, they're quicker to react and transfer the game to the other end of the court. You know, the Liverpool keeper he's made 2 or 3 saves already, so you know, if Leicester can steady the ship and stop the flow of transitions going in the direction of their own goal, hopefully they can create some chances to get back in this.
Yeah, still a very long way to go. It's a long-range strike that's palmed wide by Blake. Corner.
A little bit of an unorthodox setup from Liverpool's corner there. It's not something you often see. Three in a front line. Very typically in England, you see the Y or the 2-1-1 defensive shape from corners.
Leicester in possession. Doe. Just caught the heels of Williams, and it's back with Liverpool through Stevens.
Yeah, Ben Stevens is somebody I've spoken to a few times. He's a young university journalist from Liverpool Uni, and I've had a few conversations with him. He's wrote a few articles for the Liverpool Echo, and I know he's a huge fan of the sport. So it'll be interesting to see him play and see how he gets on. You know, Liverpool look really comfortable in possession. Again, Leicester seems to have dropped a little bit deeper. Liverpool just enjoying themselves at the moment.
Yes, they're sustaining possession well, aren't they?
Yeah, and they're expressing themselves as well. Like I say, you know, not always often that Tier 2 teams get the opportunity to play in venues such as St George's Park.
Yeah, and the ball's been in play for a lot of the half as well, which means that the first half of this first half has somewhat flown by, as the longer pass there is looking to pick out Pinto, who mentioned in the reading of the team sheet that he was down as number 190. He's wearing number 10. So just a typo on the team sheet.
Yeah, I think you do well to get 3 numbers on the back of anybody's shirt.
Yeah. Here's Doe. Pinto with his body between ball and player there to shield it out for the kick in.
So again, Leicester have got that one player nice and high, but then it just feels as though they're a little bit disjointed in when they're going and when they're staying. And what he does is it leaves a lot of space in the centre of the court for Liverpool to exploit. You know, sometimes I feel like you're better taking the risk.
There's a chance here at the other end, and well, it's finished off. It was a long throw out from Blake, who'll get the assist, and Stevens on the end of it to tow home. 4-0.
But then to go against the point of taking the risk, you obviously always leave yourself open to balls over the top and space in behind. Goalkeeper's position in there, maybe a little bit too deep. Could he have been out a little bit earlier to affect the game and maybe even sweep up? You see that a lot in the tier 1 and the more experienced goalkeepers. You know, their starting position, when them balls come over the top, they're stepping onto them to clear them off. But take nothing away from the finish again from Stevens. He's slotted that away like prime Thierry Henry.
Yeah, well, 4 goals for Liverpool and 4 different scorers as well, and they're looking to make it 5. If who would have been another different scorer in Sergio Martinez, the captain.
I thought he was going to go for the spectacular overhead kick there. I think we've seen Richard Ward try that a few times in tier 1. His knees and elbows are paid for it. He's yet to hit the target.
Liam Doe sees his pass intercepted, and it's another opportunity for Liverpool. It's 2v1. Didn't need to use Stevens that time. It's slotted in at the near post, and that's 5.
Yeah, good first line pressure from Stevens, wins the ball back. And again, that little moment of pause, that little threat of playing to the second post puts the indecision in the goalkeeper, and Sandham just slots it away.
Yeah, now that is 5 different scorers with the 5 goals they've scored, and a timeout called by Jack Bryan, the manager of Leicester. And good reason for it as well, because his side are threatening to succumb to the pressure of Liverpool and fall even further behind. It's still very early on in the game, really, still inside the first half. A good chunk of this first half still to play, but 5 to the good now, Liverpool.
Yeah, I think the discussion has to be had about whether they continue with the press or whether they make the decision to drop off and try and stem the flow of goals, really. Protect the D a little bit more, you know, look to create chances when they do have the ball from set pieces and from in possession, because at the moment they're losing the transitional game, and I don't think they can keep going like this, otherwise the scoreline could really run away with them.
Yeah, well, I witnessed a game earlier on in the season where Liverpool were left dumbfounded that they hadn't managed to score against Birmingham. And they've certainly had no problems in scoring today. They've scored 5 inside the first 12 minutes. Leicester will have to restart from the kickoff. Now go once more. Certainly not for the want of trying. Mendes, good challenge.
Liverpool dropping into a 4-0, which actually is causing Leicester real problems, because they don't want to commit all 4 players forward into a press, and when they do, the spacing behind is being exploited. So again, they're really caught in terms of decision making as to how they want to play out of possession. And again, you know, without the experience of tier 1 and a number of years playing, it's very easy to make mistakes and to dive in and to try and win the ball and get a little bit too eager. You know, I think we saw in the 5th goal there from the number 12 for Leicester from Doe. He gave the ball away initially, but then he compounds his mistake by going to try and win it back instantly. Whereas actually his job then is to delay and to try and give his teammates time to come back and help so they can help him recover the mistake. You know, we mentioned it earlier about Ramsey in the Wessex game. You know, make one mistake, but then with the inexperience, you go and make a second one, and that actually makes the situation worse and results in a much easier chance for Liverpool than it would be if you had delayed.
Well, they have since that timeout delayed any further damage that Liverpool might inflict on them before half-time. Still 5. Leicester in trouble at the moment, though. Good challenge by Sandham that time.
Yeah, I mean, Leicester have moved the ball around reasonably well. Again, the distances on the court, you know, they're playing from back to front quite early, and that means that the distance they have to cover to go and offer support to the pivot is big. Sometimes playing an extra 1 or 2 passes in and around your own area to try and close that distance up, and at the same time the pivot, it feels like he wants to turn every time. Actually, a lot of the time, if you are playing long vertically, you want him to secure it so that he can buy his teammates time to come and join in.
Here's Mendes in possession after the short roll from Blake. Yamamoto picks out a nice long diagonal, and he's looking to get on the end of a Return pass to him from Jolson Jr.
Yeah, you see that a little bit in what I was saying there. You know, Liverpool have played direct quite early, and they've looked for the second post, but the distance that Yamamoto has to make up from playing the initial ball forward to then get into the second post is quite excessive, and you know it's very hard to create those chances like that.
Well, shepherded behind.
I suppose. Sorry.
Sandham doing his job well there.
Yeah, he's done really well. Shepherded the ball out, but Liverpool are really comfortable in possession, so I don't think they need to force the ball forward too quickly. You know, I think dropping into this 4, they're doing really well. Individually, I think they can deal with the pressure that's coming, and I think they can be patient and again wait for the times.
Leicester have a kick in from wide right. Josh Pickering places the ball on the line. It's set for the strike to goal from that kick in, but never really threatened to trouble the goalkeeper.
Yeah, it was, Leicester sent 2 players into the second post there, which quite dangerous, because if the ball doesn't make it there, as it didn't, you leave yourself very vulnerable to a negative transition, because you've got 2 players taking the kick in and 2 players committing to the second post, which actually means you've left the entire centre of the court unopposed. Very dangerous, but then again, I suppose at 5-0 you start to take a few extra risks.
Yeah, well, there's a foul there as Sandham just caught Ben Loader. A free kick opportunity and a yellow card as well shown to Sandham, who can't quite believe that.
Yeah, he looked a little bemused about the initial decision. He didn't quite see it in full flight, but it certainly looked like it was a foul. There was definite contact there. And maybe the yellow card again, a little bit like Jez Paulson earlier, is more the position on court and the fact that, you know, he's defending that 1v1 in front of his own goal.
Yeah, confirmation there of the first caution of the game goes to Connor Sandham. We have just over 5 minutes to play in this first half. Liverpool leading by 5-0. What a first half it has been for David Connor's side.
Yeah, David Connors of Liverpool. He's been around the game quite a number of years. I actually played against him going back to maybe 2016-2017 season in the Welsh Futsal pyramid system when I was enjoying a season at Wrexham.
Oh, an opportunity here for Leicester as they try to bundle it in. The goalpost has been shifted. And the whistle will have to go to stop that, but Leicester coming the closest that they have so far.
Yeah, a little bit of a scramble. Done really well on the line there, Mendes, to clear it.
A good, important defensive intervention from Mendes. Keeps the clean sheet intact, at least for the time being.
Sandham's done really well there to deal with that long ball. And again, what he's done is, rather than turn and try and progress the game himself as an individual, he's brought his teammates into the game, and now instead of playing in 30 metres from goal, they're playing in the opposition half and playing 15 metres from goal. You know, that's a really important role, and sometimes as a pivot, you know, it's very difficult to be a pivot because you have to be willing to do the things that you don't always want to do. So a lot of players, you know, they want to receive the ball, turn, face, and affect the game. Whereas actually, if you're isolated as a pivot, sometimes you just get it, keep your game really simple, and do that job for your team, and almost staying out of the way sometimes.
Yeah, long range strike there from Jolson Jr. who got the game's opener, but off target that time. Not too much to worry about, though, is there really, for Liverpool?
No, not at the moment. I think the biggest threat has come from set pieces. Leicester are quite happy to fire that ball into the Liverpool D and create some scrambles, and as we saw before, you know, throw 1 or 2 players in there and see if they can pick up a second ball or 2 maybe. Blake's been relatively untroubled from open play, and you know, Liverpool are dominating the ball.
It's a good ball up there to Sandham. Yeah, very much dominating possession, controlling and dictating play, but they're giving it away there. Rodrigo Costa.
Leicester just need to be careful that when they are in the possession, that when they travel forward and the rotations they're making, they're not too deep, so that they get isolated like that in a 1-1-3 almost. You know, really, you want your rotations to be nice and shallow, show in the centre of the court. If you can't get on it, then come back round to help out your teammate. At the moment, they're travelling a little bit too high, and they're leaving the backman or the fix a little bit exposed. And you know, Liverpool look like physically they're strong, individually they're quite competent and good. So you know, you don't really want to be being left in a 1v1 situation. You know, 10 metres from your goal.
Well, that's not good distribution at all. It might have slipped out the hands of the goalkeeper, and it could prove to be costly. Very nearly did.
Yeah, it looks like he just changed his mind at the last minute and decided he didn't want to throw it, but didn't quite have a grasp of the ball. Something that my goalkeeper Joe Payne did at Bedford a few weeks ago, and fortunately he made a fantastic save and kept a clean sheet in the end. But yeah, changing your mind at the last minute, a bit like a penalty taker, is not always a wise idea.
Junior trying to find Mendes. It breaks back here for Jawson Junior.
Yeah, definitely a player that looks like he likes to express himself. I think he was looking for a little nutmeg there, and like I say, with the score at 5-0, you might find that some of these players now start to take a few more risks and look to dribble a little bit more.
Breaks here for Yamamoto. Mendes smashes it in against the post, and very close to adding another.
Yeah, when Liverpool commit to that high press, I think Leicester are really struggling to play through it and play around it. Again, physically, I think Liverpool look the stronger, and they look a little bit more organised, a little bit more experienced, and Yamamoto picked up the loose pass there, and again, great decision making, brings it down on his chest and finds the first time pass to Mendes. Great strike as well.
It certainly had enough pace and power behind it, didn't it? But just inches away from rippling into that bottom corner, and instead smashed against the post.
Liverpool have worked out of that 2v2 really well there. A little bit fortunate maybe, but maintained possession before giving it away sloppily.
Yeah, it's an overturn again as it's set back for Liverpool to maintain possession again. Really enjoying themselves out there now as Junior plays the pass down the line. Liverpool ball.
Yeah, they look really organised, Liverpool. I've been really impressed with them. You know, and again, I think the court is helping them. It's giving them more space to exploit, and you know, Leicester are struggling, I think, with the size of the court and the spaces they have to cover when they're pressing high. But you know, Liverpool are moving the ball really, really well, really comfortably, and they look really organised. And then you throw in that the individual ability and flair that they've shown in 2 or 3 of the goals, and you know, they look like a really, really good side.
Long ball through here, and it's an opportunity for Leicester to pull one back.
Again, the decision to play the square pass was probably right. I think it's the same player who made it earlier. It's just, again, the quality's not quite there, and you know, those are the difference makers. Couldn't quite find the man running in at the second post, but positive signs for Leicester.
Long ball up, here's Yamamoto. Yamamoto, there was he fouled? No, so the officials. Whistle has now gone.
Yeah, there's a couple of coming together there. Not sure which way that was given to Leicester in the end. I think they let the first 1 or 2 go and then made the decision to give one in the end.
Bosnell. Here's Yamamoto. Pinto, and Liverpool again just with controlled, sustained possession.
Yeah, I think this is something Liverpool have done really well. You know, they're not desperate to go and score goals, and they're almost willing to sort of wait for them to happen in that more natural sort of way. You know, they're trying to draw Liverpool out to create space in behind. Sorry, draw Leicester out to create space in behind them, which they can then go and exploit. A lot of the times, you'll see teams try and consistently force teams back, and it reduces the space you actually have to go and create the scoring opportunities.
Williams trying to find the pass there to Jake Falwell, but it's just too far ahead of him, and it's been a frustrating first half for Leicester. Not least with the 5 goals that they've conceded. as we're into the closing 30 seconds before the half-time break.
Leicester will be just looking to create one chance here before the half.
It's a long throw out, and maybe Liverpool can create another opportunity before the half's up, but they'll just keep possession. And indeed, there goes the buzzer to signal the end of this first period. So it's 5-0 to Liverpool at half-time. And what a first half it's been for them. The half-time score, Leicester 0, Liverpool 5.
Yeah, just looking back on the goals here, and again, this first one really set Liverpool's stall out. Lovely little bit of individual play, willing to go into the 1v2, spots the space. Probably not strong enough defending from Leicester from their point of view, but then he steps through to finish it. You know, I think once you can get physical contact in him, I do think you need to keep hold of him and force him into your teammate, and then between the two of you have to stop him at source.
Yeah, this was a great goal with the back heel to set it up, and then the way in which Mendes rounded the goalkeeper as well.
Yeah, it just looks good, doesn't it? Let's be honest. You know, it's always nice when you're seeing those bits of individual flair that we don't always necessarily get to see at Tier 1 when the intensity and the quality of the defending is so high. So Liverpool, you know, really expressing themselves in certainly the first 2 or 3 goals that they scored.
Yeah, Mendes the scorer there of the second goal, and it was soon 3 as well for Liverpool. They're still inside the first 8 minutes of the game with Yamamoto, the scorer of that one.
Again, another great finish. You just see here though, the Leicester player there, he stops with the ball instead of carrying on his recovery run with the defender. You know, and again, that comes down to a little bit of experience. Ultimately, only one person delays the ball, everybody else should be recovering behind it. And just that split-second delay where he wants to turn and look at the ball and see if he can affect it, actually probably gives the Liverpool player the opportunity to take a first touch and finish, as opposed to being under pressure from the defender.
Yeah, an assist here for the goalkeeper Blake, and Ben Stevens found himself with all sorts of room in behind the Leicester backline. Again,
just a little bit of you know, inexperience in the way that Leicester have set up there. They've got all 4 players in the opposition half. Really, you want one player who's dictating that from his own half, and you know, he's deeper than everybody else, so that he can offer some advice and help.
Yeah, and Stevens was ready and waiting there if the pass was played from Sandham, but instead he took the opportunity on himself and slotted in at the near post for number 5, and that's how we stand at half-time. Neat finish there past Robinson. His goal has been breached 5 times in the opening 20 minutes. So the half-time score, Leicester 0, Liverpool 5. Welcome back then for the second half of this one in the Tier 2 North at St George's Park, with Liverpool 5 up against Leicester. In that first half, it was very one-sided in truth.
Yeah, I think Blake in the Liverpool goal had a few saves to make, and they caused a few problems from a couple of set pieces. But outside of that, Leicester really struggled to create too many clear-cut chances, and Liverpool really did dominate the ball and the game.
I think underway in the second half.
I think early in this second half, Leicester will be looking to probably play a little bit more direct and force Leicester back. And as I say, with the trouble that they caused them from set pieces, I do think that's going to be the best avenue to try and make an attempt to get back in this game. So winning those high set pieces, you know, from being a little bit more direct and playing in Liverpool's half will be key.
Leicester in possession here in the Liverpool defensive half, as it's cleared away, and it ends up back with the goalkeeper Robinson.
Yeah, Leicester seem to have a habit of, when they're attacking and from set pieces, they leave the centre of the court really open, you know, which is ultimately very dangerous. It was done really well there, though.
Yeah, it's nicely controlled, and they've got themselves an opportunity as well, and it's a good save from Blake. Probably the best chance that Leicester have fathomed so far.
Yeah, they worked that opportunity really well. You know, quite a large 1-2 wall pass on the right-hand side of the court, ball over the top. Did really well to bring it down and find that pass, and probably took a little bit too long to finish it. Allowed Blake the time to come out and close him down. You see it here. You know, and we won't go back to talking about those first-time finishes. Once you give a goalkeeper a chance to come and close you down and make himself big, it's really difficult to find a way around him or through him, which is why the second post is so important in futsal, because often you can take the goalkeeper out of the game.
Yeah, I mentioned that game that Liverpool had earlier in the season against Birmingham. Liverpool did go on to lose that game, but Tom Blake made countless saves across the 40 minutes.
Yeah, it looks like a really good young goalkeeper. You know, everything he's done so far today has been excellent. He's covered ground well. He's closed distance as well. He's made himself big when he's needed to. His distribution's been good. So no, I'm really pleased with his performance. I'm sure he's happy. You see him there in the 1v1 celebrating the save.
Welcome back to St George's Park. We have around 2.5 minutes left to play, and our biggest apologies for the loss of coverage in the second half so far and the lack of the main camera coverage at the moment. The scoreline is 6-1 to Liverpool, with Liverpool scoring first before Leicester pulled one back. So 6-1, and the yellow card is there shown. Oscar Mendes getting his second goal of the game whilst the coverage was away on the 27th minute before Josh Pickering pulled one back for Leicester. So, having been 5-0 down at half-time, Stuart, it seems as though Leicester have been able to control Liverpool more in this second half.
Yeah, obviously we haven't seen the footage, but I assume that Liverpool have maybe taken the foot off the gas. But you know, Leicester did come out in the second half and we're putting more pressure on Liverpool and trying to force mistakes. We've been playing a little bit more direct, so you know, I think they'll be pleased with the second half performances. And sometimes that's what you need. You know, if you have a half where it doesn't quite go well, you need to take the positives out of a second half performance.
Yeah, well, Gilson Jr. has gone down and stayed down for Liverpool, which is always worrying.
Yeah, it looked like he just rolled his ankle slightly as the ball went into a bit of a 50-50 with somebody else there. Can always be painful ones, those.
Yeah, his shoe's off and he's being seen to now in a painful one. 6-1 is the score to Liverpool. Maybe they have just taken their foot off the gas a little, because what we saw from them in the first half was bright, dynamic, and they were scoring goals for fun in that first 20 minutes, weren't they?
Yeah, they were, and as I say, we saw their individual quality come out in that first half, and certainly in those first 2 or 3 goals. You know, maybe in the second half, maybe they you know, as we say, they looked like they were starting to express themselves and enjoy themselves towards the end of the first half. Maybe that's continued, and it's not been quite as fluent in this second half, which has allowed Leicester to get a bit of a foothold in.
Yeah, well, Gilson Jr. being helped off court on the far side. That's a blow for Liverpool, and otherwise been a good day at the office for them. But a concern with that injury, he'll miss out on the remaining 2 or so minutes that we have still to play. We'll see what the scoreline finishes as. No doubt about the overall result. That's all but confirmed now and wraps up in favour of Liverpool.
And I think with limited time left, you know, it may be that Liverpool have tried to work on a few things in this second half, having that 5-goal cut. You know, I'd be interested. I don't think Leicester will go fly. I think if they were going to, they probably would have done it earlier in the half. You know, but again, the experience of playing at St George's Park, and for a number of Tier 2 players, this may be the first time they've played in an international size court. And as we said at the very start of the game, it offers different questions to players, and it also gives them different learning possibilities and outcomes. And both teams will take a lot away from today, I think.
Yeah, it's certainly been a good experience for them both. Take to the course at St George's. And the whistle went there for that foul. And the subsequent shot wouldn't have counted with the whistle already blown.
Yeah, I'm not sure there was any contact there. I think he's gone down very easily because he's made an individual mistake himself, kind of just thrown himself to the ground, and I think the referees have bought that one.
Yamamoto offloads there to his right with Sergio Martinez, the captain of Liverpool, the surely winning captain. Side of play on the near side, and in the closing minutes, Stuart, from what we did see of it in the first half and the limited coverage that we've unfortunately had in the second, who's been the standout performer for you?
I think he started the game really brightly and opened the scoring with an excellent first goal, and then he was heavily involved in all the other good things that Liverpool did in that first half. I think number 7 has just unfortunately gone off injured, Junior. I think he really shone in that first half. You know, I'm not personally haven't seen him play before, but was really impressed. I do think Liverpool have had a number of good performers, but I think he was probably the standout for them.
Yeah, so Gilson Jr., the player of the match, and he got the game's first goal as well, got things started for Liverpool. Set them off on the right track, as that's slid into touch by the number 11 for Leicester and goal scorer Josh Pickering. Not the afternoon that they were looking for, Leicester, and Coach Jack Bryan would have known it would have been a difficult task going into it. It's played out that way as well.
I think you can see there, you know, whether that's been typical of the second half, but Pinto just enjoying himself, you know, trying a few skills, trying to put a little bit of entertainment into the crowd, the small crowd.
Yeah, well, hopefully it might fill up a little bit for the next game, which we've got coming your way live on BT Sport 1 with Loughborough Students and Manchester coming head-to-head in the top tier, in the Tier 1.
Yeah, I'm really excited to watch that, actually. Two contrasting styles. You know, Manchester have got a very settled team, a very experienced team, and Loughborough young and inexperienced, but a lot of intensity and exuberance.
There the buzzer sounds then to signal the end of the game, and it finishes 6-1 in favour of David Connor's side. Liverpool, a great day at the office for them, and they pick up another 3 points in their Tier 2 North campaign this season. Again, apologies for the lack of coverage in the second half. We can only apologise for that, but it's still 3 points, and 3 points which Liverpool will gladly take. The final score, Leicester 1, Liverpool 6. This was from the first half, and the opening goal from the eventual man of the match, Jilson Jr.
Yeah, and as we said before, it's a great bit of individual play. He spotted the space, he's drove into it, and I actually think the finish is as impressive as the skill. But he's been really brave in possession, good little bit of physical strength, and you know, I do stress, I think Leicester will be disappointed that that's the way they've conceded the first goal. As good as the skill is, I think, you know, they could have been a little bit stronger defensively.
Yeah, this was a great goal to round the goalkeeper to finish it off by Mendes.
Yeah, likewise, Junior plays a huge part in this, and that's an unbelievable pick out and pass and great awareness from him. And Mendes does really well to round the goalkeeper and make the task of slotting it over the line easy.
Yeah, simple finish in the end. And he enjoyed that one and went on to bag himself a second goal in the second half as well. This was to make it 3-0. Yamamoto.
Yeah, again, another excellent finish. You know, credit to Liverpool. They really came out of the blocks flying in that first half, and the difference ultimately was taking the chances like this. You know, Leicester had 2 or 3 of not necessarily as good opportunities, but similar opportunities where they forced Blake into saves. But what Liverpool did really well was they managed to take the goalkeeper out of the equation, which makes their life a lot easier.
Yeah, then the long throw out from the goalkeeper Tom Blake, and with all the space in the world behind the back line of defence there to finish Ben Stevens.
Yeah, we see the risks in high pressure and high pressing up the court and leaving space in behind to exploit. You know, a little bit of miscommunication from the Leicester players, being a little bit too high up.
And this was the 2v-none pretty much situation, which in the end the helping hand wasn't needed for, and Connor Sandham slotting in at the near post.
Yeah, we mentioned a couple of times in commentary that Leicester were leaving themselves sort of in that 1-3 and isolated at the back, and I think they found themselves in that situation there, and they couldn't find the pass to escape it, and were duly punished.
Yeah, so it was a torrid first half for Leicester, and in the second just a goal apiece, so a much better second half performance from them, but ultimately they'll go away disappointed and pointless, with Liverpool taking home all 3. The final score, Leicester 1, Liverpool 6.